All right, everyone. This week we're going to be talking about cover letters and resumes. And I do think that they are very important to cover. And in a way, they do tie in with narrative nicely because you are kind of talking about yourself and relaying history of yourself, but just in a very different genre with its own, motivations, different audiences, constraints that may be put on you. And so I feel like this is a great time to do them as you're finishing up your narratives and kind of segueing into the next thing that we're going to do. Now, why are these so important? Well, for two reasons at your particular age and stage at life. One, a lot of you probably are going to be applying for internships or higher level jobs over the next few years, and so it's really important that you know how to do this. And two, a lot of you are probably starting to reach out to teachers or other people and asking them, hey, can you write a letter of recommendation for me for a scholarship to get into a college? Depending on which college you go to, I remember I had to apply to get into the higher level of College of Education at Tennessee Tech. So the thing of it is, like, I have students asking me all the time to write letters of recommendation for them, and I know them within the context of the classroom, but I don't know necessarily every single little detail outside the classroom. And so sometimes having a resume that a student hands to me saying, hey, could you write this letter of recommendation? And here's my resume, it helps me write a better letter because I can show how you're balancing college courses with, all these other responsibilities in your life, and it just helps me make a better letter of recommendation. But two, actually three, resumes are extremely important too because they are the first thing a future employer sees about you. And so I have friends who work in human resources, and they have told me that if they've got a position and there are 100 applicants, they sort who gets the interview based off of how well their cover letters and resumes are written. So they are important. They are about you. They are kind of, in some way, form, or fashion, a form of narrative writing. And so we're going to go with that this week. So here's some bad things not to do. One, watch your spelling. Server up here, sure, not misspelled there. Again, that's one of those red flags where if like a human resources person sees that, they're going to be like, nope, don't want to see that. This person's not getting an interview. Try not to make them too fancy. Like, there's nothing wrong with including your picture. I would not put a picture with sunglasses. Just personal preference and professional preference. But this person decided to kind of go a little bit big with the graphic designs, like customer do go sales. I don't understand how that has anything to do with that. I guess they are a salesperson, but why? Anyway, they have little graphs here with like little money. And then with skills, they have like percentages, and I'm not exactly sure why they would include that or why that's relevant. Yes, include these things, but I wouldn't want Italian language 15%. I would want, if I was needing someone who could speak Italian, I would just want to know that you can speak Italian. I don't need to know, I don't know. 15% to me, that's like not enough Italian. So again, that's just unnecessary and something that is not needed. The non-achiever for this one, with a resume, you want to be specific with your skills. You don't want to say tried to create positive rapport with customers. You want to say you did create a positive rapport with customers. Charged with increasing customer satisfaction. Well, you were charged, but were you successful? Can you prove that? Tasked with upselling faster internet connections. Yay, you did that, but how successful were you in doing that? Were you able to do it 50% of the time? Who knows? So it's vague and it tells me what you were asked to do, but it doesn't tell me what you did. The font abuser, this is a big one. Please, please, please don't use fancy fonts. Every time I have a student, at least one student every semester, who turns something in with a fancy font, and I'm like, nope, go back and revise this. So you don't want to use these formats here, Comic Sans, Impact, whatnot. What you really want to use is good old Times New Roman, Georgia, Arial, something like that. That's going to automatically give you extra points on your resume. The Gamer, which I found this one really, really funny, founded one of the best RuneScape clans in history. That has nothing to do with really anything. Dedicated hundreds of hours training in Leagues of Legends. Finally reached platinum tier this November. And also spent summer helping my grandpa renovate his porch. Again, that's not really qualifications. Yeah, it shows that you're dedicated, but not, yeah, no, just no. Let's see here. The autobiographer. This one's really, really tiny. So the resume reads more like, well, it's as long as a CV. A CV is a little bit more detailed. But this is something you don't want to do. And I know y'all can't see it really well, but I'm going to show you an example in just a minute what not to do. So basically creating like these huge long paragraphs, and that's what students want to do. But you need to be short, sweet, and to the point when it comes to your resumes. You don't even use complete sentences, which is like really throws a lot of people off. But I'm going to show you in the good example of what to do in just a second. This is probably the biggest mistake I see people make, is that they just like go on and on and on and try to include way too much information. A resume is just a snapshot of your skills and abilities and why you should be hired for this specific job. And so therefore your resume can change with each different type of jobs that you try to apply for. Using too many buzzwords, like don't say hit me up. Oh my gosh, please don't do that. Personal note. Success is where preparation and opportunity meet. Yeah, you don't really need that either. Yeah, so this one's just not really all that great. Formatting disaster. You want to make sure that your format is quick and easy for people to read. And so like this one is just a little bit off. Like right over here, these aren't lined up perfectly. And so some people that can be a red flag, that if you're not putting enough detail into your resume to where you have mistakes, like especially over here where it's just not lining up properly, they're going to be like, well, you're not going to be detailed oriented enough to, you know, do our job, especially if it's a task oriented job. And don't exaggerate your skills. Please don't. Like this one, teaching assistants with 2+ years of experience supporting young learners in a multilingual setting. And then it switches to Dutch. They might not be able to read Dutch. And so why would you put that on there? Hopefully none of y'all would actually do that. So let me show you a good example here of a resume. Hold on, let me get down here. Oh, that's the wrong one, sorry. There we go. Good resume right here. So this particular one is good. What I like about it is that at the top it shows the person. That's a good picture. The organization is good. What's really great to include is a summary of qualifications, especially like, and this is where you can get very specific for like a very specific job. Like what can you do that, like if you're going for a sales position, are you familiar with different types of cash registers? I don't know. It's been a while since I've been in sales. Are you familiar with rewards program and upselling to customers doing that? Career objectives, enthusiastic student teacher with good leadership and multitasking skills. Notice that is not a complete sentence, and that is okay to kind of condense things down, because a resume, because you are trying to fit so much information on one sheet of paper, and a resume really should just be one sheet of paper, that it is okay to kind of do that. Familiar with different instructional approaches and technology options such as smart boards and use in lecture classroom. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but that's a very good objective. She wants to get a job, and this is why she's good at it. So professional skills, group teaching abilities, teacher support, solid communication. Again, she's going for a very specific job, so she is highlighting what she's good at in order to get those skills. Work history, showing her work history right there, and that's always a great thing to put on there. The education is over here. Sometimes people put education there. Either way is perfectly fine. So yeah, this is an example of an extremely good resume. And when you go to Word, like a lot of people, hold on a second, new, like document. When you go into Word, there are templates that you can use. I got a little click happy, so hold on. You can go to more templates. My computer has been very slow lately. So you can just do classic resume and you can click on that. They have different ones that you can use. Hold on, let's pull it up. And then basically all you have to do is plug in your information. So Word has a lot of resume templates that you can use. It also includes, you can switch these around if you want to. Education's a big one for y'all. One of the things that I would highly recommend doing is for education, put your projected graduation date. I mean, most of you are still in high school. You can't put MTSU down since you were technically MTSU students, like MTSU dual enrollment. Along with your high school experience, and that will actually look pretty impressive if you want to. But you probably don't have as much experience, but just put what you have. People know that y'all are younger and they're not expecting y'all to have this really in-depth resume, but just being able to format one correctly and be able to highlight and show your skills, that's what they're going to be looking for from someone your age. So make sure, and any activities, like this is also a chance. What's really hard for students in narrative writing is in bragging on themselves, but feel free to brag about yourselves with your activities. Like, what have you done? Are you president of a club? Are you the captain of a sports team? Skills. Don't be afraid to also show your skills. And notice right here that they're listed kind of horizontally instead of vertically with like just a little bullet point in between. Do that. Don't list them vertically because that's going to take up way too much space on your resume. So that way you have more space in order to dedicate to other things. But yeah, if you're a really good typist, point that out. Point out if you're a team player, if you've done public speaking or whatever. Now, just to kind of hit on cover letters. So, oops, wrong one again. Sorry. So, cover letters kind of go hand in hand with resumes, and I'll post this link for y'all within the assignment. But they have a format, and this is a good format. Your name, phone number, your address, things like that, the date. Try to find a specific person when you're applying for a job to write the letter to. Always try to be as specific as you possibly can. And so what's really, really great about this one is I'm writing to apply to seek for the position of flooring consultant at this company. And this is again where you need to brag on yourself. I'm an effective and collaborative salesman. I have enclosed my resume to support this. Thoughts on this, and then talk about your skills. Like, this is a great way to format this. It's like, first of all, why you want the job, your skills. I like the number 7. Clark and Company Limited have intrigued me since embarking on their megastore approach to retail. Kind of brag on the company a little bit, like butter them up and show how you're passionate about the same things that the company's passionate for. Or, if you are passionate about chicken sandwiches and you want to work for Chick-fil-A, talk about, how they're a great company who's really been innovative as far as chicken sandwiches go, and you would love to be a part of that. So, and just talk about how you would value the opportunity to talk with them. Again, being humble, recognizing that they're taking time out of their day to interview you, trying not to be pushy, and that you look forward to hearing from them. All of those are really, really great things. I'm not going to read over it because I know y'all are probably starting to tune off and get just a little bit bored right now. But again, I'm posting this link so you can kind of read through it. But all of this is just really, really good information on writing a cover letter. Now, a bad cover letter, we'll just go over it very briefly. They don't have a specific person. They just say, hey, encloses my resume. I'd like to start working in retail. I've mostly worked in hospitality, but I don't really work in retail. And don't say that you don't have any skills. Like, you want to sell yourself, and by saying, hey, I have 0 experience doing that, that's not really selling yourself. What does having a degree in English language with a B plus have anything to do with the company? So at McDonald's, I learned to serve customers, which would be helpful. Again, not being very helpful. I'm tailor-made for this job. Are you sure? I would be grateful if you could interview me. Don't beg.